Dr. PHV Seshatalpasai sir, faculty members and my dear students. Now, I would like to invite Dean Student Affairs, Dr. T. Venugopal sir, to address the students and faculty members for this program.
Awareness on IPR, intellectual property rights, which each and every student must have a knowledge of these intellectual property rights. And also, I think you have in a curriculum also you have this subject, so you can get much more information from the expert. We always, MR said, always use it to show interest in transformation of the knowledge. So, apart from the teachers who gives who gives the lectures over here, apart from that, we always arrange the expert talks from the industry experts. This is one of such talk by Mr. Subhajit Saha, who is having much knowledge in particular field of intellectual property rights. So please utilize this opportunity to gain the knowledge in that particular subject. So which is very much necessary for you all engineers in your future. Okay, thank you. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Now I request our principal, Dr. S. Srinivas Rao sir, to address the gathering.
Good afternoon. So welcome to this 1 hour webinar, which has been conducted by MRSET R&D department under Institution Innovation Council. The topic is a workshop on importance of IPR for startup research and academia under AICTE-IIC Mentor-Mentee program. So before I give a small brief about IPR, let us wholeheartedly welcome with your great applause the today's speaker, Mr. Subhajit Saha. I want your applause. Give him for sparing his valuable time and being with us. He's head the legal and IPR for the Resolute IP company. So as Dean sir has already stressed, today IPR plays a very important role, intellectual property rights. So we being engineers, always we have so many innovative ideas and creativeness with respect to your technology updates, whatever you are learning in your final year up to your 4 years curriculum. So in this journey, any student, so I think most of you have seen the excellent TBA center that has been established by our visionary management. So already we have tie-up with Telangana Hub and so many other industries where we have created a platform, especially for the students to come out with your startups or innovative ideas so that they can be implemented. And later on, once you have idea that is been implemented, I think if you are aware, recently, maybe 2 months down the line, We have even conducted smart hackathon in the college, where so many students have participated. Almost 80 batches have participated in that particular hackathon program. So these are all the platforms or various stages that gives you the awareness with respect to your startup or innovation programs. So once your innovative idea, any student or any batch of students, if you want to implement your innovative idea, where we call it as a startup, the platform which is already available in the college, if you start implemented, a prototype is being designed and it is brought, then the next stage is commercialization. Once the commercialization is over, then we can go for IPR rights. So whatever innovative idea that came into your mind, it is completely your own intellectual property. So by going with this IPR rights, what is the benefit that you're going to get is your idea cannot be stolen by anyone. It is like copyright. So whatever the research papers that we publish, right? Once we forward to the general, immediately the general will forward, please sign the copyright form. So once the copyright form is been signed, that will be our own property. So nobody can copy whatever the idea that is being generated by you. So nowadays, I think you have seen, because of this digital media, once your idea or whatever the point you share, immediately it is reaching to millions of people. And there are so many other people who always try to grab whatever the idea that is being generated. So in this process, I should really appreciate the R&D department for conducting this webinar, so that you will be knowing the significance of what is the IPR, why we should go for IPR for the startup or innovative idea that is being implemented, designed, and that prototype product that is being brought. So because the time is running, I think this webinar will be definitely helpful. And parallelly, I think this semester you are also reading that IPR subject. So you're a little bit 50% aware of what is the IPR and what is the role in the going for projects. I think that the Subhajit Saha also will give completely awareness and what are the steps that are involved, how to proceed in order to get the IPR for the project that you have been done. So that is what wish you all the best. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for that introduction and giving the motivation for the students. Now, let me take the privilege of introducing to you the speaker for today's program, Mr. Subhajit Saha, sir. Mr. Subhajit Saha, sir, is currently working with the Resolute Group as their head of legal and IPR. Prior to this, he worked as director and head of CII at Hyderabad on IPR, policy advocacy, and capacity building across all the sectors. After serving for more than 18 years, he moved on to the corporate world as head legal and IPR. In his last 18 years of IP career, he was involved in protection and prosecution of all forms of IPR, which includes patents, trademarks, copyrights, industrial designs, GIs, etc., along with IP management in industry and academia. He had the opportunity to visit overseas for IPR and technology services multiple times. Presently, he is involved creating the service arm Resolute for IP of Resolute Group and also in-house legal and statutory issues for this group. He also served as a member of the Non-Agricultural Products Committee of Organization for International Geographical Indications Network, shortly termed as Origin, for 3 years and was invited to Bordeaux in 2013 to deliver a lecture on Indian GIs. With over 18 plus years of experience in IPR facilitation, he is also a visiting faculty to the Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of IP Management, GOI, IISWBM, Kolkata, University of Hyderabad, Usmania University, GRIT, NIMSME Hyderabad, and several other institutions in and out of Hyderabad. We are very happy to have you with us for today's program, sir. Now I hand over the session to sir for further proceedings.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Anita. I hope I'm audible and visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So it's great to see such a brilliant audience, young students or budding future for country. And thank you so much for your time to have a session on IPR. Much appreciated. As your principal sir was mentioning that whether you are an academician or a researcher or a student, you can actually change the world by the power of IP. Just imagine youngsters who are as young as 20, 25 starting startups with a brilliant idea and giving business to this world. So I would just take a minute and go into the presentation, and then we can actually discuss about the subject matter on intellectual property rights and its importance. Just give me a minute here. Yeah, I think in today's world, we all need to understand how important. Yeah, I need a direct connection. You need LAN. LAN, yeah, because it's getting disconnected. Just give me a minute. I'm just connecting to the LAN so that we have an undisruptive session here. Just a minute, please. Yeah. Yeah. So is the slide visible, please?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yeah, I'll make it full screen, okay? Then so that you can have a. Yeah, is it coming to full screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So I just wanted to so today's session is on importance of intellectual property rights for startups, research, search, and academia. So it's a great opportunity for you to understand why we need to study intellectual property rights. See, in earlier world, if you see just 15, 20 years down the line, there were Fortune 500 companies which were actually based on oil, based on exports, based on raw materials. But if you see today's Fortune 500 companies, almost 400 of them have been replaced by knowledge driven company. So if you see recently the a company called Rajesh Exports, which actually invested 24,000 crores in a display fab in the ECT, and basically they are into exports of gold. But how they actually acquired a technology of manufacturing LED panels is one of the important element, and how you can actually make multiple products out of it. So that's very essential. So that is the reason we all should understand intellectual property rights in today's world. So basically about our group, we are an electronic manufacturing service group, and we are into digital marketing, sales enablement, animation and gaming, art, and IP facilitation. So that's our all brands. We are one of the largest TV manufacturers in India, smart TV manufacturers with 25% market share, which means that we don't have our own product, but we supply to OEMs like Samsung, OnePlus, Panasonic, Meds, and others. So we are mainly assembling and doing the entire end-to-end ecosystem. Yeah, I think the slide got stuck. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just give me a minute. I think the slide is not moving due to the bandwidth. See, this technology is such a thing that you need to be abreast, and technology is ahead of law. So we need to, and IPR is a new concept. So we're not able to keep pace with the current technology. Just give me a minute. I'll just solve this because I resolve this. Yeah. So basically, if you look at the world of IP, you know that IP is always with you. If you start your day from the morning newspaper to what you use, basically the toothpaste or any kind of things is all IP driven. So if somebody changes your toothpaste or the brand, I think you're sure you have to get irritated because you're using a particular particular brand which has built a connect with you. So that's the important element. So we all have IP touching, like this is the water bottle which is Bailey. So when I go out, I will always choose Bisleri, Bailey, or some kind of Aquafina. I will not choose things which are not non-branded or not protection in terms of quality. So that's the reason it's important that IP gives you that edge to understand what exactly is there in the product and the value which comes out of that product. So if you ask me, intellectual property rights is still a misnomer understood by many. When I talk about intellectual property rights, students feel that it's only patents, it's trademarks, but there are a lot of other things. Do you know there are 8 types of intellectual property rights? So if you see any book on intellectual property rights, it is divided into industrial property rights and then copyrights and associated rights. So under the industrial property rights, you will have coming. Okay. Under the industrial property rights, you will have patents, trademarks, designs, semiconductor layout, geographical indication, trade secrets, and others which are there. So these are the forms of intellectual property rights. But whereas Copyright is to do with artistic work, musical work, literary work. So how J.K. Rowling, a housewife who was actually, doing a lot of work, sitting at home, penning down a series of stories, and then that's how Harry Potter comes in, and then she becomes a billionaire by writing a book, which gets translated into a novel, movie, and now a kind of a brand endorsement in all forms. So that is the power of IP. What can you do? But and how you can actually take it forward. So IP refers to the creation of mind, which comes from our ideas. Basically, anything and everything starts with an idea. You all know that. But in science, if you see, it's very essential that in science, the credit goes to the person, not to the first one who has developed the idea, but who gets the idea into action. Many people will have ideas, but unless and until you put the idea into action, it doesn't serve the purpose. The same thing happens unless and until you work out an invention, make it into a prototype or a product, talk to some commercialized players, try to commercialize your invention, then you become a good innovator. So do you know who is the world's best innovator? Any idea you have in this world? Who is in today's world can be considered as the best innovator in the world? I know I cannot be asking you questions because on a virtual thing, but you can put it in the chat box or whatever. So according to me, I think Steve Jobs of Apple, who is no more, but he was one of the best innovators the world has ever seen. See, what he has done is he has used the technology platforms and he has made products which will actually have more design aesthetics, more technology driven products, and more high processing and high quality devices. So that's how iPod, iPad, iPhone have come in. So they are all on the known platforms, but still they have emerged as one of the largest multi-billionaire companies in today's global market because of the intellectual property rights which they hold. So do you know that Apple phone, which is manufactured in China and other countries, it is cost around $400 or something, in terms of, but the Apple gets around $400 for each phone that is manufactured. And the $10 goes to the manufacturer who actually assembles it in China, whether it is Foxconn or any other, player which is doing the manufacturing. So that's the power of intellectual property. Why? Because they own the IP. They own the IP for the entire PCB, the entire gamut of graphics, the design, the interface, everything. And only the assembler gets $10 per phone. But whereas the Apple gets back $400 on its IP, which has been actually licensed to all these people to manufacture. So creativity is the ability to think and come up with new idea, design new inventions, produce works of art, novel or unconventional approach. So you have to solve problems in today's world. Please understand, you as students, do not follow trends. If you don't want to become a fourth Uber or a sixth Zomato, everybody will actually try to emulate. అరే ఆయన స్టార్ట్అప్ ఓపెన్ చేశాడు, నేను కూడా స్టార్ట్అప్ ఓపెన్ చేస్తా, నేను కూడా ఇది ఒక ప్లాట్ఫామ్లో ఒక యాప్ డిజైన్ చేసి నేను కూడా సేమ్ ప్రోడక్ట్ సెల్ చేస్తా, నాకు కూడా బిజినెస్ వస్తుంది. That will come, but only thing is, it will not be sustainable in longer run. You might get away, but definitely you need to plan something more, something innovative, something more creative to attract your stakeholders, your consumers and all that. See, I was told that there are so many apps on EdTech. You all know EdTech apps, Baiju, then there is Unacademy, then there is so many things. But do you know that the apps which are created in the market can cater to only 1 crore people only? That means there are no more 1 crore. And in India, you have more than 35 crores of students in a population of 140 crores. So there are huge scope for making still educational apps. But that doesn't make us, kind of deterrent, because the competition is cutthroat. People are selling, you get up, every day you get calls during pandemic. I'm sure your parents must have got, you must have got, for so many things on FITZI, on all that, when you were, people who are preparing for their engineering, and engineering preparing for their GRE or whatever, so such kind of calls which are there are really very, very, difficult to understand. So that's how it's important that some of the edtechs are also closing, because they don't have the flavor, they don't have the content, they don't have the idea, they have not onboarded good experts on their platform. So that is how you have to understand that. So you should, instead of following the trend, you should follow a problem as students. So what is the problem which your society is facing today? What is the problem your college is facing today? Whether it can be in terms of water crisis, it can be air pollution, it can be a kind of an, it can be anything. It can be on making your college more accessible to, physically disabled people, making it more friendly, making it more, kind of innovations which can save cost to your college. How you can actually, turn whether it is, so this mindset has to change. Then people will think only people of mechanical engineer, chemical engineer, or computers only will make inventions. No, you can have inventions coming out from commerce field, coming out from accounting field, coming out from any field. It is not that only you need an R&D lab or a high-tech lab to make inventions. So it is anybody's prerogative to actually think of some idea and put it into paper and see the implementation. What is the ultimate thing is, it has to solve a problem, and that problem has to be inventive and novel, and then it has to have an industrial application. If you satisfy the three conditions, you are good to file a patent, or else you just solve your problem. It is not that every time you file patents and make your college in the promotional campaigns. If you see MIT College, 1,000 patents filed. If you see Lovely Professional University, you haven't heard these names last 4 or 5 years. But if you now pick up any paper in the north and all, every college is flashing on patents, trademarks, designs, copyrights, and all that. So what is the end result of that? We need to understand whether the patents are getting commercialized. Is the college getting any revenue out of it, or it's only a biodata patents? Because what happens is, many patents are filed only for the namesake, where the inventors are acknowledged and people are happy because you have the number game. There are some criteria as per the, you file patents, so you will get. But generally, Andhra University recently filed 5 patents. So they have come out with an incentive that whoever files a patent will get 10,000 rupees as an incentive, as a bonus. But there is a committee which will actually sit, analyze whether this patent is worth it, whether it will have any market value, will it get any money, or is it just for the sake of filing a patent to appease your own self and appease the outside stakeholders. So that is very essential to understand. So IP for academia is that once you get a thought, a plan, or a suggestion for a problem, you start working on that. So you work on that idea and then you do some research. Just how your PhD people do a research on first 6 months to understand what exactly is the research work you do. So that's how you understand what needs to be done and analyze some white space analysis. Suppose there is a need for vaccines. That's the reason people have come out with COVID vaccines so fast. Basically, COVID vaccines would have taken at least 5 to 10 years to come in. But how they have bypassed all the regulatory procedures and they have done all the due diligence, clinical trials, put everything on paper, is that they worked at a pace of 3x to get the vaccine on board because it was a pandemic. Else, 5 to 10 years to come into the market after it is proven, it is tested, it is clinical trial, then it is regulatory authorities. So it's very essential how you actually shape up your idea and what exactly you do with it to get into. But basically it is a pandemic, so the world chose over to get those inventions, and now the efficacy is being talked about. You see a lot of papers talking about, still debating Covaxin is better than Covishield. Then then there is one more vaccine of biological E, Corbevax. So we are not very sure, but how much percentage of efficacy they have and what exactly the immunity boosters they have. For likely even people who have taken the second dose, booster dose, also have been affected by COVID. So that doesn't mean that these inventions are not working or they have not been doing as much promised what they had basically. So they have a patent, they have a product, but only thing is the clinical trials might not have given that much of time and result to prove. So it is basically to test, like how Tata vehicles and Mahindra vehicles, if you see them, they launch their vehicles and then they take the customer feedback, and within 1 year or 6 months they start making the changes, rather than other companies like Hyundai, Maruti and all. They do a lot of back end research and then understand the customer's mindset and then launch a product, and they don't change anything for the next 5-6 years. But this is how strategy is. So you want to protect yourself either by doing a trial and test on the market, in the market, or you want to do it prior to the market. So these are all strategies which you things which you need to follow. So you look around you right now and name all the things where you see product of human creativity. It can be your college logo, your Mallarity group of college. It's such a prestigious college. The other day I was listening to the minister at Kandlakoi Gateway IT Park, where I think most of you must have been there on 17th February, which was the ground breaking ceremony was there. So 75% of the students from Telangana study at Mallarity College and come out and graduate in some form or the other. So that's a very brilliant, bright, prestigious statement which has come out. But how many IPs do Mallarity College own? And how many patents, designs, trademarks, copyrights have been filed from these colleges? So can somebody has done an audit? Have you understood? Have you ever thought what is the patent? Why should we file? What it is? Or just you are studying and coming out for only getting good jobs in IT, and then your life is set. You don't need to think beyond that, because nobody will question me, or nobody will ask me anything if I don't file a patent, or I don't have to ideate, because it's not mandatory. I just want to pass my exams because it's mandatory for me to get a job or do a good life. But yes, have anybody made it mandatory that yes, you have to innovate, you have to ideate, you have to think of things? You have seen Three Idiots movie, I'm sure. You have seen a lot of movies which are on ideas and patents and all that. So it is very, very essential. If you see how people have moved, even Facebook. I think Facebook started with a small social media platform way back before becoming a Facebook. I think he was some kind of a face, some image was there, and then and I understand YouTube was started in India in 2008. When there was a first video uploaded of 19 seconds by a person standing in front of a zoo and showing a long tusked elephants. And today, after 14 years, YouTube is it's a rage. Now you have Insta, you have a lot of influencers, you have micro influencers, you have bloggers, you have everything. So the world is like a digital metaverse, which I think you all are aware. And in this world, I think the first guy who creates the idea, protects it and leverages it will actually rule the roost. So you should understand that don't be a follower, but try to be a leader. That doesn't mean that you will always have to, everybody has to ideate. See, you have to be very careful, because it's not only about your own IP. It's about you should not step into somebody's property. How your house is there, you take permission and enter into a house, your neighbor's house or somebody's house. The same thing, you need to take permission or an NOC to actually file, to use or take the invention into the market. You can't directly take somebody's IP. Otherwise, you will be issued a notice, a legal notice. Then you will be sued for infringement. You have to allocate time, resources, money. So you don't need to get into litigation. Correct? Nobody wants to get into litigation where there are almost more than 3.5-4 crores cases still pending in the courts in India, and don't want to add to the numbers for no reason, because of your lack of your care or your lack of your due diligence. So because it helps your favorite designers, musicians, artisans, writers, artists, filmmakers on creating things they create and we enjoy. So without IP creators would not be able to make the living for their work. Anyone else would immediately copy whatever they created. See, recently there was this, yesterday, I don't know whether you follow Twitter, I think Hrithik Roshan was showed against a Burger King advertisement. If you have seen that. So, and then he actually tweeted saying that this is not done, because he just came out of the vanity van and there was a Burger King advertisement which was there behind, and people had clicked it and shared it on the Burger King had shared it on their website. So this means that Hrithik Roshan is promoting Burger King or some kind of endorsing brand, but which is not true. So that is how you should be very careful and cautious that you cannot override or ride on upon any IP, even if these are called personality rights. So you cannot make a movie on somebody else portraying in a dim light or a very shady character. You need to take a permission. The same thing was there in a case where Rajnikant movie was shot, Main Hu Rajnikant. There was a movie called Main Hu Rajnikant which was being shot in Chennai to showcase a character called Rajnikant. There was an NOC which was taken from none other than the legend Rajnikant, the actor. But when the film was about to be released, there was a clause that he will see the premiere and then it will be released. When the movie was about to be released, it was shown that the character Rajnikant was shown in very immoral and very derogatory and very shady image. And it was totally against his character or against his integrity. So he challenged this in the court of law, and there was a stay given by injunction given by the court saying that yes, it is a violation of the personality rights. You cannot show somebody in this, though you have taken a license to use his name, but Rajnikant is so synonymous with only none other than the legendary actor. So any namesake also will attract something that will put it in the mindset of people. So that is the power of how mindsets are in terms of IP also. So why does IP matter? It is revenue, intellectual, it is revenue. It helps you to give you a market share. It gives you a kind of collaboration opportunity, and it gives you more ideas to work. And then the story of prey and predators. If you see this, it is like this. You have to have, if you are a small company, you will actually be overtaken by a big one. They try to take your ideas, innovation, products. But in case if you want to bank on big, then you need to defend yourselves, and then that is how you make a portfolio of ideas, patents, and all that. So why is IP important for academics and research? I think for decades, if you see, universities and R&D institutions in developing economies have not been associated themselves with IP. So I was in Tokyo in 2013. I remember it's a long time. It's been almost 9 years, and you will not believe, a guy from a university called Yamaguchi University, he passed engineering and he got a job in Toyota. Okay, and he was about to join the company. There were 8 semesters, just like 4 years engineering, and 1 semester was on IP and law, and the remaining 7 semesters was on engineering, whatever subjects he has taken, mechanical, electronics, and he passed, but he failed in that IP paper. And for your information, the company which came for the campus placement had the letter in the hand, given him the job opportunity. But when he went to join, he was asked that you first clear that paper and then come and join us. So he had to wait 6 months, clear the IP paper, and then join the company, and then the new job, irrespective of having very good credentials and marks in other subject which he will actually be using. So the message is very clear. It is only that you should understand that you should respect others' ideas. You should take care, nurture your own ideas. You should see whether you can get a protection and see how it can benefit you and others in the long run. So it's very essential to understand this. So that's the reason, if you see, the government has come out with a national IP policy in 2016, Now a patent takes 2 to 3 years to be granted. A trademark takes 8 to 10 months. A design takes 3 to 4 months. A copyright takes 3 to 4 months, and a GI takes a year. So such is the strength. Earlier, a patent used to take 8 to 10 years. A life of patent itself is 20 years. Just imagine for electronics, where every technology becomes obsolete in 6 to 8 months or 1 year. There's no point to file a patent and wait for 20 years or 10 years for its grant. So why IP is very important for startups? See, if you see, startups work on problem solving. I'm sure that you all are aware that there are a lot of problems which come into startups, and there are a lot of corporate challenges which are thrown up, and these challenges help in problem solving. So these ideas, they always keep coming to startups, and if they are not getting these ideas protected, anybody else will actually take it forward, use it, leverage it, and then you need to again prove yourself. So that is very essential, that you have to understand your rights, the creation and protection, and also the enforcement of your rights. So IP is a classic example of real estate, how you ideate, protect, manage, monetize. So please remember this IPM, intellectual property management: ideate, protect, manage, and monetize. It's a very easy way of acronym for remembering that. And if you see how it is evolved, if you have an idea, an expression of idea, it's a copyright. If you have an idea, a technology, it's a patent. If you have an idea, quality, identity, it's a trademark. Idea, appearance, the aesthetics, the outside shape of the bottle, the phone, the mouse, the laptop, these are all designs. Why do you want to go for Apple? Why do you want to go for Samsung? Why do you want to go for OnePlus? Because of technology, because of the look, and because of the brand. Simple. So what technology represents patent, the brand represents trademark, the design represents the shape of the phone, represents the design. So the simple, the answer is very clear. Be it a car, be it a fridge, be it a TV, be it anything you want to buy, you always look on all these characters. So earlier, if you asked me, earlier world, if you know, say in 80s or 90s, people used to battle for cost. People, the more low the cost of a device to manufacture, the more market share I have. So I will always see which is less costly. Our parents used to see. Today, the world is on quality. I can spend another lakh of a rupee on an iPhone, provided I'm getting the best iPhone in hand. I will spend a lakh. I don't mind spending a lakh. That is the nature of today's world, or today's people who are tech savvy, who want to have the best of the gadgets, who want to have a faster processing system and all that. Tomorrow, the world will fight for designs. So everything will boil down into designs. Either it should be ergonomically well, it should be aesthetically suitable, it should be functionally suitable, it should be very helpful. So if you ask me, there was a challenge of TSRTC, Telangana State Road Transport Corporation. Recently, I was going through the website. They had thrown a challenge for anybody and everybody to brand name their water bottle and also design a water bottle for the TSRTC. And there was a prize also. So people must have given. So you know how the design has to be. So you can actually think of a new design of a bottle which will look very innovative and take the prize award. More than the prize, it gives you the pride, because you are named as a designer for that bottle which will be used by TSRTC passengers, TSRTC employees, and your name would be associated with it. Don't you think so? So that is how the importance is. But how many people must have applied for that? How many people have ideated, created the design, and had the patience to sell or something like that? Could be. I am not a designer, so I didn't do a design. But I suggested some names as a trademark. So whether I have got selected or not, that's different. But I have given my name choice, which I think might be taken or might not be taken. But I have done my part as an IP thing. I gave some name. They were looking for a new brand name. So you have all these false water when you go in for traveling to all these tier 2, tier 3 cities. You find a lot of low quality, cheap water being named, like Neer, Neel, and all that. I'm not sure about their quality, but definitely these are all fake brands, and they have not even registered, just with just one shutter shop with using a small device to just purify some boreal water and bottling it and selling it off. And so it's very damaging also for the health. Why? So, I would prefer to buy a 20 rupees water bottle of Bisleri rather than a, 10 rupees bottle which is non-branded, non-safety, because my health is important than the money which I invest. So that's how you should think when you understand. So what is a patent? So let us understand what is a patent. So patent is nothing but a exclusive right which is given by the government to the inventor to make or to exclude others from making, using, selling or importing your invention. So it is a negative right. The moment you have a patent, you can exclude others from making your invention, selling your invention, importing your invention, or making, using, selling or importing. And the point is, for 20 years you get a monopoly for 20 years from the date of filing. In return, the government gives you this monopoly. So what do? Is you give your entire specifications, drawings and whatever is there to the patent office. In return, the government gives you this monopoly of 20 years to use your invention, license it, commercialize it, monetize it and leverage it to get money out of it. So then what are the advantages of patents? It helps to prevent copying, it slows down competitors, it helps you to cross license, generate funding, enhance brand value. But sometimes the disadvantages are it's very costly, it's a lengthy procedure and no tangible or guaranteed benefit. Sometimes you file patents, but you don't get the returns. You might not find a licensee, you don't get a suitable technology partner. So you spend money, you get frustrated. But please understand, in the world, in today's world, 96% of the inventions are not commercialized. Only 4 to 5% inventions are commercialized and the patents are commercialized. Those 4% of the patents which are commercialized are ruling the world, which means either a jet engine or a 5G technology or a nanotechnology or a Teflon coated one or an aerospace or a defense, all anything and everything, a radar system, a 3G, a 3D printer or whatever you name it, or whether it is a genome sequencing or anything, are all encrypted in this 4 to 5% of patents. So what are the other 95% patents? Are they waste? Are they ridiculous or are they frivolous? No, they aren't. They are mainly to give you a knowledge, to make a understanding that yes, you want to protect something. Just imagine nano car, Tata Nano. I'm sure you must be aware of Tata Nano. Now that it is stopped, no more manufactured, it has been stopped in production, has 53 patents. 53 patents have been filed and granted for Tata Nano, for the engine, for the chassis, for the shape, for the the battery systems, the steering wheel, the alignment, all that, everything, the rear engine, some kind of the fuel cell and all that, the powertrain. So everything on the car is being patented and they have filed 53 inventions in one small nano car. Do you know IBM has 800 patents on its laptop, one single laptop? Even if you see IBM in olden days, I am sure you must be having, or some of your parents, or you must have used it. There'll be a red color bindi on the middle of the computer on IBM. There's a red color movement for cursor, which you actually do today's. That red color bindi or the whatever bindi like round in the middle of the computer was a patented subject matter. It helped to navigate the cursor on the screen, and that was a way of a platform. And if you not believe, Apple had a design for wireless chargings in 2017. They have filed a patent for it, 2017, and today we are in 2022, where the patent has been granted. So wireless chargings of phones which are being charged without any wires, without any device, just on the magnetic strip, or how you charge based on just keeping the phone on a magnetic pad or a thermo electro device. So that is how they have thought of it, that yes, wires will be redundant. They might be because wires they get cut, you need to fold, you need to put in a pouch, you lose your charger, you forget your charger, you misplace your charger, you have so much of hassles moving with it. So why not go for a wireless charger? Just I place my phone on some surface which will actually have a wireless charging option, and within minutes or whatever it gets charged. So this idea came in 2014, 2016 or 17. The designs have been talked about if you see the patents. So now they have been commercialized. So it doesn't mean that the moment you have an idea, you commercialize. So what will come into the market in whatever has come to the market now must have been ideated at least 8 to 9 years back or 6 years back. The same thing will happen. What you're ideating now will come into the market in 2030 or 2022, 2028 or something like that. Maybe EV, more high EV driven cars, nice battery operated, cars which will actually be more stable to heat, more stable to any kind of pilferage and not even catching fire and all that on, and more thermostatic wise it will be thermodynamically stable also. So such things will be looked into when you talk about. So what can be patented? Anything, a product, a composition, an apparatus, a process. So anything can be patented. Just name it. Even it can be the bidirectional grinding machine of a mixie is a patented technology. Just imagine that how it directs. So did you know that 90% of the patents are improvements of existing patent inventions? So the 3 improvements, just imagine in 1926, this is just a door handle where the spring was a little shorter, but whereas the spring became more long, there was a cheese shaped kind of a device on the top of the on the Victor logo, which was just like a cheese shaped for giving that look and feel of a design. And then there was a curvature at the so that is how the cheese like plastic smells like cheese. Spring is a little longer and hook at the end of the arm. So these things in 50 years they have just made these inventions which are also patentable. So exclusions, there is section 3 of the Patents Act of Indian Patent Act tells about what is not patentable. Discoveries, arrangements, mere arrangements, rearrangements, admixtures, business methods, computer programs, method of playing games, agricultural methods, method of doing surgery, diagnostic methods are not patentable. You have to understand anything. If a doctor does a surgery, a surgeon, or how he actually cuts open the body, how he cuts opens the vertebrae and then cuts open the heart and does a bypass surgery, he doesn't get a patent for it. How he diagnoses a patient, he doesn't get a patent for it. But the drug which is used to treat a disease, yes, it is patentable as a chemical composition, a formulation or an API or whatever it is, a new generic or a new molecule, definitely it's patentable. The vaccine is patentable. The kits are patentable. The COVID kits, the RT-PCR test is a patentable test, but not the way it is used to diagnose COVID or something like that. So how does one get a patent? Is that you identify the invention, then you understand the prior art which is there, and then file for the application. So I would request today that through this platform, Dr. Sai and respected principal sir and other dean sir to have an idea box in your college, and then every Friday people can drop in some ideas, and Monday morning there can be a coordinator who reads out these ideas, and if anything which interests or which trickles the mindset, it can be on designs, copyrights, trademarks, or anything, you can take it up further for next round of understanding what made them to come out with this. Can it be ideated? Can it be taken forward? I'm sure the small things will go a long way, and definitely will have a great ecosystem and a culture which will set in, which will be emulated in other group of your group institutions. That yes, MRSET has started a way of identifying inventions, whether it is patentable, whether it is commercializable, whether it is scalable, or it is just for the sake of filing. So they have a way of doing a due diligence to understand. They know how to do a patent search. So then typical patent, if you see, if you file an application, it is published in 18 months. Then you file for a request for examination within 48 months. But generally, when you file an application, you file it for both. You file the fees for application, for early publication or normal publication, and request for examination. You have to ask the patent office to request your application to be examined. Then they with the fee. Then the application is FER is issued within 1 to 2 years. I think now it's 2 years within you get a FER issued, and then you respond to the FER within 6 months. And then the hearing starts, and then you respond to the hearing, and then it is granted or it is taken forward. So where to file? These are all online now. You don't have to go to the patent office. Our jurisdiction is in the south, which means we are from Chennai. So our jurisdiction is Chennai, which has the shade of all the 6 southern states. And if you see, this is the first Indian patent which was granted way back in 1884. The first Indian patent is an efficient panka pulling machine by George Alfred Defening, and that was the drawings of the pulley and how the person used to pull the machine, and then the pankha used to vibrate and used to actually move in one motion, and then it is actually giving you the air. And then Apple holds over 1,000 patents relating to iPhone. These patents cover things like voice control, camera, user interface, battery, synchronizing data across devices. So 1,000 patents Apple have 1,000 patents. And did you know that there are a lot of examples of inventors who chose not to patent their invention for various reasons? World Wide Web, matches, and then and then he didn't make much money. And karaoke, these are all things which are it is now used by billions of people around the world. But if Sir Tim never patented the idea, because it should be for everyone. So the internet, the matchbox, the karaoke, these are all free to use. Just imagine if you had used every download, or every time you log into an internet, you would be charged for 20 years. And then Post-it, even the Post-it was a small invention which worked, and it is now used by millions. It is filed by 3M, and it is given an unexpected results, and it is known by the world. You all use Post-its in your research papers, when you read books or in record books and all that. So industrial designs is something which is mainly about useful and aesthetic things. It is only the outside appearance and shape. Please be aware, nothing to do on functional thing. It's only about not technology, only look, feel, shape, size, configuration. So that is how I would say. And these are some of the industrial designs: a toothbrush, a golf ball, a half-big bottle, or the diamond ring, or a lady's handbag, or a male purse, anything, fashion, textile, jewelries, name it and you have it. Furniture, household appliances, everything falls under design. Cars, watches. And then the essential purpose of the design is to promote the design element in this industrial, so that people understand that there is a creativity in it, because you want to, at the end of the day, infuse creativity in what you do. And the period of designs are valid for 15 years, 10 years, an extendable period for further 5 years. So patent was 20 years, design was 15 years. So now next form of IP is trademarks. If you see that trademark, you all know that it's a properly a sign, a symbol, a logo, a brand, a name. It can be a Nike, it can be an Airtel, Microsoft, Elico, Google, Facebook, Alphabet, so many things. All are brands. Just imagine you go to a shop and you want to, you don't have any names. Then how will you identify the producer with it? The Nike logo was designed by a student in Stanford University. It is called the swoosh logo. He was paid $35 for designing that logo. That small tick, just do it. Till today, he gets the revenue of 0.001% of Nike sales worldwide. The student who had designed that logo, Nike, which is the black logo, which is just a simple tick, which was designed by a university student as a project work, is fetching him millions till today. His bank account is ticking. So just imagine, students, such is the power of intellectual property right. It's just called the swoosh, SWOSH, swoosh logo. Just do it. And that's how the power is of Nike as one of the global leaders. And little did he know that he would be such a renowned designer, that Nike will rule the world in the world of sports shoes or athletic, or in the world of sports arena. So trademarks, as I said, it can be anything: color, shape, combination of graphic representation and all that. Word mark is Philips, Uber, service mark, fair trademark, device, Qualcomm, logo, and all that. So please understand, when you file a trademark, you should always remember that when your uncle, auntie, or your parents, or anybody, if tomorrow if a professor or you want to start a new business, don't have a trademark which is very fancy, which is very arbitrary. Don't keep a name which is descriptive, which is not distinct. It means, just imagine Apple for computers. There's no match. Apple is selling computers. Xerox became generic. Everybody says I will take a Xerox, but the official word is I'll take a photocopy of it. So I will do a Google. I'm using a trademark. I should not say I'll do a Google search. Correct? I will search the internet. That's the word. I will not search. I'll search the internet and I will surf the internet and come back to you with some results. But people say I'll do a Google search. But Google is a name of a company. You're using a trademark. So is Jeep. Earlier days, anybody used to buy Jeep. What a vehicle? Jeep. But Jeep came back to from the US, and now you have a Jeep Compass. You have a Jeep, things like that. So this became generic. So always remember, when you keep some trademarks, have a fanciful name like Kodak for a camera. Nobody ever knew. Aquafina, Bisleri, so don't have a connect. See, you have a lot of, in this city, I'm sure you must be seeing a lot of shops, dry fruits wala. It's a dry fruits world. They sell dry fruits, kaju, kishmish, akhroad, almonds, and all that. They'll never get a trademark. They have a beautiful logo, DFH. They have put dry fruit house like KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, but they will never get a trademark. They are doing trade, they are doing good business, but it's called dry fruit house. They are selling dry fruits. So what is the big deal? How do you demarcate that? They should have added some name. They should have put something which is a Sanskrit word or their name, or Agarwal's Sweet House or Agarwal's Packers and Movers. How famous they are. Everybody who wants to move from out of the city, they used to always say, I will have a Agarwal Packers and Movers to go out. So that is a brand name. Now if you see how brand is abused, the biggest example is Santosh Family Dhaba. Just like our every wine shop, every 2 kilometers you have a wine shop, every 1 kilometer you will have a Santosh Family Dhaba. You don't know which is the real one. One fellow has 6 Santosh Family Dhaba, New Family Dhaba, Silver Family Dhaba. Which is the new one? Which is the original one? Nobody knows. Same thing with Bawarchi, Silver Bawarchi, Grand Bawarchi, High-Tech Bawarchi, Premium Bawarchi. But there's only one original Bawarchi, which is at Mushirabad RTC Crossroads. But Paradise did a very good thing. They have filed a case against all the people who were using Metro Paradise, Grand Paradise, Silver Paradise, Pink Paradise, or whatnot. Now, if you see the city, you will not find any Paradise brands with a prefix or a suffix as a Paradise Hotel, because they have taken and an infringement suit was filed, and all the brands have closed. So all those became Mehfil, Mastan, Muskan, Mehfil, and all they have changed their names. So all have gone, those Paradise. So they have gone ahead and took a decision to take a conscious step to enforce their intellectual property rights. So semiconductor layouts is something which is the elementary circuits in transistors. It is mainly the design to perform an electronic circuitry function, and it is governed by the Circuits Layout Design Act of 2000, and it further comprises of lead wires and such elements. And plant variety protection, I think this is not much used basically for agricultural students who have come out with a new variety of plant or a new variety of a breed of plant which is more distinct, which is more unique, and which is more stable, uniform in terms of yield, in terms of drought resistant, giving more yield. Those varieties can be protected, and this is what is called a geographical indication, which is a form of IP, which is a community right. All the forms, please remember, this is very important. All the other forms of IP, whether it is patent, trademark, copyright, design, are individual driven, company driven. Anybody from a house, from a garage, from a kitchen, from a from a small, even a kindergarten student can come out with some invention, or a fourth class student also have filed patents. I have known people who have filed patents in class 4 in Japan. In India, there are students who have filed in 7th and 8th class who have filed patents, which have been granted a soldering device and all that thing. So geographical indication is for community. An individual cannot fight. So what is geographical indication? Telangana has around 14 to 15 geographical indications. Which are they? Pochampalli Ikkat is there, Siddipet Gollabama is there, Nirmal Painting, Silver Filigree of Karimnagar, Pemberti Metal Crafts. Then in Andhra you have Kondapalli Bommalu, Tirupati Laddu, Bandar Laddu, and all that. So these are something which comes out from a particular place, having an historical origin and a characteristic over the years, and have a good repute. So it gives you a feeling that you're taking the authentic thing. So when you're sitting in Hyderabad and sipping Darjeeling tea, you should be very sure that you're getting the authentic Darjeeling coming in from Darjeeling, not from any other XYZ location which is fake, or an Araku Valley from Vizag where you get an Araku coffee. So that is how these are. And trade secrets, these are not your secrets or your friend's secrets, what you're sharing every day, or you all share as students. everybody has secrets. These are secrets which have commercial value, and you have taken a lot of steps to protect them. The Coke formula, the KFC formula, the Batini Goad is that 8th June or 9th June. I think this you do this every year. I think the fish festival where they give this asthma thing to people who give this medicine. That's a trade secret because nobody knows what medicine is that, the fish medicine. Same thing happens with Coke. Just imagine if Coke would have not patented, would have not filed, if they would have filed a patent today, after 20 years, Coke would have been available like a goli soda everywhere. In your area, in your people in the Bandi who are selling that goli soda with orange green bottle, you would have got Coke there. So you don't have to go to Coke. Coke would have not been a billionaire. Why Coke chose to make it as a trade secret? Because that formulation is only known to 5 to 6 people in the world, in their company, and they are so protective. They are put it under a lock and key vault, and only the formulation which is there, the mixture has been given to the manufacturing units and they manufacture. But what goes inside, nobody knows. Same thing happens with Pepsi and other brands also. So that's how the trade secrets are maintained. It can be anything. It can be a formula, it can be a practice, it can be a process, it can be a design, instrument, pattern, information, your clients, your vendors, whoever, from where you're getting commercial value. So next is the copyrights. The last one, I think we have just another 5 minutes, we'll close. So copyrights is something which is there. I think you all must have been fresh from the memory of RRR movie and how Bahubali actually took the world to surprise in terms of how we make movie, and the entire landscape of movie making changed in terms of technology, in terms of storytelling, in terms of portraying, in terms of VFX, in terms of all that things. So that's how copyright is done. You know, copyright is something which is for artistic, musical, literary work. You can have an idea, but that idea can be expressed in multiple number of ways. So if you see movies, like, you know, so many movies have come with the similar idea. How that two brothers parting ways, you know, fighting with the villains, having going abroad, and then there is a love story, and then they come back, there is a nice unity, and everything ends in a good movie, and the movie is a hit. There are songs and dance. So many movies have been worked out in the same story concept. There are so many movies, but the characterization, the picturization, the locations, the way the frames of people have been there, the characters, all are different. The plot, the idea, the theme must be there, but the expression of how it is been made into a movie will have a copyright. So who owns the copyright for a movie? It's the producer, because he pays to the director, he pays to the actor, he pays to the sound recordist, editor and all. So they have their copyrights, they are the owner, but they are creators of copyrights, but they are not the owners. So owner is the one who pays. When you go to a photo studio, you pay for your picture, the photographer clicks your picture and give it to you. So the copyright on your picture is literally is done by the photographer. If the photography is so well, he will put it and sell it to a person, but he has to take an NOC from you if you give him and tell him that. Otherwise, you have paid for him, and it is a service agreement, which means that I have given the money, and in return that copyright on my picture or whatever I asked him to take is mine. The same thing happens with MF Hussain. Suppose MF Hussain paints a sunset, it doesn't mean that nobody in the world can paint a sunset. You can also paint a sunset based on your understanding of nature, your understanding of art, your understanding of ideas, and how do you perceive a sun, and how do you see the location, and then go for it. So you express the sunset in a different way, against a mountain, against a sea, against a forest, or against just a plain city. So there are multiple ways how you actually create a copyright. So each of this, your answer papers which you write in the exam, whether it is film stories, I'm on a lighter side, I'm sure you write all good answers, you don't write film stories and all, but definitely whatever answer scripts you write is your copyright. You know, it is your copyright because you are the owner of it. You have created from textbooks, you have read it, you have interpreted it, and then you make the answer which you have written in your own words. మనం బట్టి చేసి రాస్తే దెన్ ద కాపీరైట్ ఈస్ విత్ టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ ఓన్లీ. బట్టి చేయకుండా మంచిగా ఎక్స్ప్రెస్ చేసి మీ సొంత లాంగ్వేజ్లో మీ సొంత వెకాబులరీలో రాసి మా ప్రొఫెసర్స్కి మంచిగా ఇంప్రెస్ చేస్తే వాళ్ళకి ఎక్కువ మార్క్స్ వస్తుంది, వాళ్ళది కాపీరైట్ చాలా బాగుంటుంది. అదే మీరు బట్టి చేసి కాపీ చేసి చిట్లు పెట్టుకుంటుంటే అనుకోండి, అది సేమ్ టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ కాపీ అవుతుంది. ఇట్ ఇస్ నాట్ యువర్ కాపీ రైట్. So this is on a lighter note, just to make you understand. Don't think that things. So this J.K. Rowling, as I said, see how J.K. Rowling, who wrote the first Harry Potter novel, she was the only person who allowed to make the copies of the book, and she gave permission to the publishing company in return for the payment, and now it is history. Without the copyright, anyone else could have printed the copies of book and make movies as soon as it is published. So she wrote 7 volumes of children fantasy series Harry Potter from in the year of 10 years, and now she is ruling the world. I think her 7 generations can happily sit and eat. No need to go to college. Whatever she has earned, I think all our entire family can be in a nice environment. So just imagine the power of pen. Okay, they say a pen is powerful than a sword. So that is important, how you should understand, you know. So you can, if somebody might inside in your today in your class, in this auditorium, there might be some who are writing good poems. There might be somebody who is actually creating good drawings. There might be somebody who is a design thinker. There might be somebody who is analyzing a problem of a society. There might be a person who is ideating on a movie or a script or a story writer. It doesn't have to be that you have to do your engineering is must. It's a basic education which you are there for, but that doesn't mean that your creativity or other things should not be overshadowed, and you're not you can. So you ignite and have a instinct of to follow your passion. Definitely, you see, you will have that your ideas, and you can channelize your energies towards it, and definitely, who knows, you can publish a book tomorrow and also make a manual for your college. I can give you an idea that why don't you make an idea how to ideate. You can give it to your juniors when they come, all your seniors as a 4th year, the best practices, do's and don'ts of project writing or project report. Title a copyright book and then publish it for your in-house consumption, and then give it to your professor to vet it, and if he finds value out of it, make it as a publication for all the MR colleges, that what you need to do once you enter the college. These are the do's and don'ts which is made by a student by 4th year or 3rd year, and this will go into the library for generations to come. So think of such things which will actually give you more value apart from your basic degree, basic understanding, basic knowledge, and that is how you will add value to yourself and value to others. And then one product, many IP, as I said, this is always known. Even the mouse, see the light which is coming out, this is the sensors which is there, which actually works with the sensor of the laptop. So that is a technology. Then the brand is called Dell, and such things. One IP, one product, many IPs. One product, many IP rights. KFC, you have so many copyrights, the TV ads and all that. Patents is the coating of the chicken, and then designs and the way it has been done. So a type of IP which you will always see in research institute is basically for publishing research papers. You can have patents, know-how, copyright, design, and typically IP which might typically arise within a university or other type of research institutions. You can see that. I think basically for universities, I would say it can be patents, it can be copyrights, it can be designs, it can trademarks. I think a little less, except your college logo, or you can even make a film. You can make a short film on your college and title the film. You can make a college fest. I remember I was in University of Hyderabad. There is a festival called Sukoon, SUKHOON. Sukoon means peace, shanti, happiness. Sukoon. आज मुझे बहुत सुकून की नींद आई है. Sukoon ante peace, inner peace. So Sukoon was a festival which is still as a brand of University of Hyderabad, annually done. So Sukoon was also a trademark. So you should find out some names which can go as a legacy to your college. It can be a college fest, it can be a college logo, it can be a beautiful things which you can prepare for yourself and then give it to your college as once you go, apart from your project reports, which I'm sure that it is for marks but not and beyond. So what are you doing marks and beyond? So think about all those things. Factors which may be used to determine your own IP is that, are you a student? What type of IP you have created? How and with whom did you create your IP? Where did you create the IP? So that's also very important. And then startup management issues. We all have casual attitude. We talk about our inventions, patents and ideas. I have seen myself, my ideas being taken by so many people and implemented. I have my previous organization, but I'm happy that at least I could sow the seeds of innovation. If not, they are actually copying my ideas, but they are doing much better probably than I would have done. So, and then I would move on and ideate more and look at new products rather than fighting a war against my colleagues or my friends or my competitors. So then create an IP plan in college, how to actually look into. We'll always be there, as I said, and then to help you. If any student come out with an IP, we will do a search, see the patentability, take it forward with your dean, research, and then have a discussion. We are working with a lot of colleges now. We are working with Usman University TBI. We are working with Narayanamma College. We are working with IARE. We are working with Lord's Engineering. We are working with JNTU, CBIT, Gokaraju. A lot of people who have filed patents in the past, people have filed designs. So low hanging fruits, takeaways, is very easy to file some manuals, copyrights, designs, which are low hanging fruits, which will actually give you that IP portfolio to build your college logo. Has it been filed? Then you can build a IP portfolio. Then patents, a little techno-legal subject, needs a little more understanding, a little more detailing, little more of knowledge, and more of working hard in terms of putting those inventive steps. So that's how it is very important. So it is very important to manage, identify your own invention, record it, document it. It's very important. Please document it, attribute your ownership, enforce your rights, value your ideas. Because if you think it, protect it. Because if it is worth copying, it is even worth protecting. So if your idea is worth copying, if somebody will copy your idea, it is also worth to protect it and leverage it. So with this I end. Thank you, and thank you for your kind attention. And if there's any question or any kind of discussion, I'll be more than happy to take it. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. I hope the session was useful. And next time, definitely I look forward to meeting you all in person. And then we can take it forward. So next time when I come to your college, I'm sure that you should have a few IPs filed. You should come out with ideas, come out with prototypes, come out with a lot of things, add value to yourself, to the college, to the institution, and go with flying laurels and flying colors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Subhajit. Any questions from our audience we can ask? Thank you, Subhajit, for giving a wide idea about IP and the commercial power that IP is having, and also suggesting our institution how to develop and build the ecosystem, ideas like idea box and other things. We'll try to implement all those things. Thank you very much. Despite your busy schedule, thanks for accepting and motivating our students and faculty in this regard. I thank my management, principals, sir, directors, sir, also for giving me the opportunity to organize this event. I also thank AICTE-IIC Cell, Innovation Cell, for encouraging our institutions, higher education institutions, towards building this ecosystem and create awareness and linking these awareness and ecosystem to the ranking systems also is very good policy which they have taken up actually. Now a lot of awareness is being created among higher education institutions. Now it is the time, as you rightly said, to do some intellectual property rights, patents, and commercializations. Unless until it is commercialized and give some commercial value, there is no meaning to have just a patent filed and granted and keep in the shelf. It is not useful, as you rightly said. Thank you very much once again. Thank you for all the audience for joining this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I think any cricket lovers, there is a question for all of you. You know why you must be seeing, you must have seen this stumps now in the cricket which have lighting. You know, lights on the moment the ball hits, there's some lights which vibrates, and there is some sensors with wires. So you know the patent was filed by an Australian company, and each three stumps cost 25 lakhs. Those sets of three stumps of cricket stumps which are there, the wickets with the bails, with those sensors of lighting, has 25 lakh rupees per set. So that's the reason Dhoni was very angry, because he used to collect the stumps after winning a match. but BCCI and ICC disallowed players to collect the stumps because no board is, if people start collecting the wickets, I think they will only buy stumps. You understood what I'm trying to say, is that that is the amount of invention which has gone. So they have kept it that no more taking stumps. In olden days, I think even people who have played cricket in my college days, when you win a match, you take the stump and go home. That's a pride that you won the match. So now when these electronic stumps have come in, which has patents by an Australian company, no more taking the stumps, because it's a technology, it's a sensor based product, and you can't take that. So that's how the power of invention and IP is. Thank you, sir. I can log out with your permission.
Yes, sir. We will close the session. Thank you very much once again for all the.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All the best. Stay safe. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Bye-bye. Take care.